Station, this is Houston on 2. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. We are ready.
Okay, and then Twin Cities, PBS SciGirls, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Station for a voice check.
Station, this is Twin Cities, PBS and SciGirls. How do you hear me?
Hello, Twin Cities SciGirls. The International Space Station has you loud and clear. Welcome aboard.
Yay! Thank you, Christina. I'm Rita Carl with Twin Cities PBS and SciGirls, serving girls in STEM studies across the nation. Today I'm here with an amazing group of SciGirls at the Inspirational Challenger Center of Ramapo, New York, joined online by SciGirls in Massachusetts, North Dakota, Minnesota, and around the country. Part of our SciGirls in Space program included learning about girls who flew their own experiments to the space station. We are ready to ask our questions.
Hello, I'm SciGirl Renisha, and I wanted to ask, what was the hardest thing to adapt to when you first arrived on the station?
I tell you what, it is great to be speaking with all of you from all over the country, and when I first got to the space station, it felt like everything was new and had to be adapted to. But I'll tell you, probably the toughest thing was adapting to the feeling of being on your head almost all the time. Because here in microgravity, we don't have gravity pulling the blood down lower in our body. So it feels like you have your head full all the time until your body adjusts. And then it feels normal again, just like you're standing on Earth. But for the first couple days, it's almost that feeling like you have a stuffy head the whole time.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Abby, and I was wondering, what jobs do you do on the International Space Station, and why are they important?
Well, like any laboratory, our jobs cover a lot of things. The main purpose of the space station as a laboratory is to conduct science. So that's probably the main job that we have. And we think it's important because we're discovering things that can benefit life on Earth and that can also help NASA to explore even farther into the solar system. Other jobs that we have are keeping the laboratory running smoothly, like doing maintenance on things, doing upgrades of equipment. We even sometimes have the job of being a space plumber, which means we get to work on the toilet up here and the system that creates clean water for us. So we have a little bit of every job. Sometimes we even have the job of being like a mailman, because we unload the cargo vehicles and repack the cargo vehicles that bring all of our supplies. So just like a little city, we do a little bit of everything up here. Now I have a question for you. What kind of experiment would you like to send to the space station?
The project that I would like to see in space is a project that my robotics team did, which was growing algae on a mat in a closed environment to produce oxygen to breathe.
That sounds awesome, and we even have experiments just like that.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Sabrina. Christina, what would you hope to achieve if you were to go on an Artemis mission to the moon?
Wow, what an honor that would be. I think that what I would like to achieve would be the same things that are the goals of that mission overall, to lay the groundwork for permanent human presence on the moon, to continue the science that we started there, to benefit from any resources that the moon has to offer, and also to help run and manage all the technologies of a mission like that, the lander, the lunar gateway, because those are the technologies that are going to allow us to go even further onto Mars one day.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Megan. I was wondering, how would it feel to be one of the first women to go to the moon?
Again, it's almost hard to imagine the great honor that that would be, to be the person that gets to carry the dreams of all humanity to the moon and to share that experience with the rest of all the humans on Earth would be just absolutely awe-inspiring and humbling. But also, it would be a really big challenge. It would require a lot of dedication, focus, and hard work. But I think that it would all become a huge reward, because with the greatest challenges and the harder the work we do, the greater the reward. Now, what do you guys think would be the most exciting thing about going to the moon?
I think the coolest thing about going to the moon, knowing that you, a human, could be so far from Earth.
I agree, that would be an amazing feeling.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Natalie. Who or what inspired you to become an astronaut?
Well, since the time I was a little girl, I was always inspired by the idea of exploration. I used to read travel magazines that we had around our house about all these different corners of the earth and all the amazing and intriguing places. And I would cut out maps from those magazines and pictures from those magazines and have them on the walls of my bedroom. And then my family took a trip to Kennedy Space Center, and I got really excited about the idea of exploring the frontiers of space. And I got posters from the space program, posters of Earth taken from the Apollo program, taken from the moon. And I surrounded myself by those things that inspired me about exploration. And I just continued down that path. And I think that my main inspiration was the idea of exploring on the frontiers.
Hello, I'm SciGirl Annie. What would you want young girls who are aspiring to be astronauts to know?
You know, I think there's a lot of things that are important to think about, but if I had to name my top 3, I would say that it would be living the life that you imagine yourself to live. When you close your eyes and think about yourself when you're all grown up, what does that life look like? What are you passionate about? Follow those passions. And secondly, take on your fears. Don't let the things that scare you keep you from achieving great things. And finally, I would say support those around you. Support your friends. Support the other people that are chasing their own dreams. And I think if you take those 3 things together, you will find the most meaningful fulfillment in life. And you'll also find that you benefit the world around you the most you can, the most that's possible.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Moxie. Can you do a mic drop in space?
Well, that's a great question. I think to know that, I'd have to say something very profound first, but let's just try. I think the answer is not really.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Anisha. What do you do in your free time on the station?
Well, I think that the crew loves to spend time together, so we have maybe group meals together, we chat, but one thing that we like to do on our own is to take pictures. This is a camera that is one of my favorite things to use in my free time. This is a 400 millimeter lens, so I can take pictures of the Earth below us. We have a beautiful big window that faces Earth, and we pass over almost every place on the planet in the course of a day. We also have about 16 sunsets and sunrises every day, so we get to see beautiful night scenes with the moon and stars and even planets, just like you see from Earth, except they're a lot more clear because we're not looking through the atmosphere. So I'd say that's my main thing to do. I also like to read on station and keep in touch with my friends and family.
Hello, I'm SciGirl Abby. How do you brush your hair in microgravity?
Well, brushing your hair in microgravity is a lot like brushing it on Earth. The only difference is on Earth, you brush it down. Up here, you brush it in every direction like this. So I'm constantly having to fight it, going in different directions, and just having to take it in different pieces so that I can get to all of it and I don't miss any spots.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Sabrina. How do you communicate with your family on the station?
We are very lucky because we have a way that we can call home, and to the people on the ground, it's just like receiving a regular phone call, so I can call people on their cell phones. And then also once a week, we get to have a special video conference with someone like a family member or a close loved one. And so that's how we can really keep seeing each other, and they can show us scenes like from our homes down on Earth. So that's a really great way to keep in touch with people. We can also send emails, so a little bit of everything.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Megan. Do you have any pets that you left on Earth?
I sure do. I have a dog named Sadie, and Sadie is what we call an LBD, which stands for Little Brown Dog. We got Sadie at the Humane Society, and I sure do miss her, but luckily she's keeping my husband company. How about you guys? Do you have any pets?
I have a cat named Bounce.
That's a great name for a cat.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Natalie. Are there any extracurricular activities that you enjoyed in middle school that you continue to enjoy today?
There sure are, and one of those I continue to do up here on the space station, because I sent a drawing book, a sketchbook with me up here. And I think it's a really fun way doing drawings and sketches and making cards and different things and letters for people. It's a way to just have a little bit of creative outlet. And it's just as important up here for me right now as it was to me in middle school.
I'm SciGirl Annie. We learned about the importance of training at NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Lab. Did you notice any differences between your underwater training and floating in space?
Overall, the training is very close to a regular spacewalk, and we are prepared so much before we do our spacewalks. It's really incredible. One of the differences is when you work upside down, like I was saying before, in the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, you actually fall down into your suit, and so there's pressure on the top of your shoulders when you're working upside down. But in space, there's no difference between working upside down, right side up, on your side. It all feels the same, and you can position yourself within your spacesuit just how you want. So in some ways, it's even more comfortable doing a spacewalk in space. The other difference is we don't have the divers like we have in the large Neutral Buoyancy Lab, which is a giant pool. We don't have the divers around us assisting with the various tasks that we're practicing. So in some ways, it feels much more like you're alone when you're on your regular spacewalk because you're surrounded by people supporting you when you're in the pool.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Moxie. We learned that the Apollo astronauts brought some fun personal items such as golf clubs. Were you allowed to take anything special with you?
Yes, we can, and I brought some things that remind me of my loved ones down on Earth. For example, I brought a pair of socks that my grandmother knitted me, which were really cozy up here. I brought a hat that my husband got me on a trip, so that reminds me of him. And I also brought a teddy bear that my mom got me when I was little.
That's great.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Alicia. Is it weird living with a bunch of guys?
Surprisingly, it's not that weird. I've been lucky that the other astronauts that I'm living on board with, we've been training together for many, many years. And in fact, 2 of them were actually selected to be astronauts the same year as me. So we've gone through this entire last 5 to 6 years together, working together to achieve these dreams. And we couldn't be closer friends. It's kind of like living with your own brothers. And I think that we all respect each other, and it's just a wonderful community here on board.
Hello, I'm SciGirl Abby. Can you jump rope in space?
I sure wish we could, because I love jumping rope, even though I'm not very good at it. We could definitely spin the rope. That wouldn't be the problem. But the problem might be in the jumping, because when you jump, you just keep going up and down and up. And it's not quite the same or as fast as jumping on Earth. But you know what? You give me an idea. I think that's something we're going to have to try.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Sabrina. How do you feel about exercising 2 hours each day?
I actually love exercise, so that is my all-time favorite part of my day. We do both cardiovascular exercise, like running on a treadmill or on a bike, riding a bike, or we do what we call resistance training, which is similar to lifting weights on Earth, except obviously lifting a weight wouldn't be any work at all. So we have a special machine that creates resistance for us. So it's actually my favorite part of the day, and I luckily feel like I'm very fit, even though I'm here in this strange environment of microgravity.
I'm SciGirl Megan. Is it easy to sleep on the space station?
Repeat that question for me one time.
Is it easy to sleep on the space station?
One second. Ah, yes. I remember that question. Is it easy to sleep? It is easy to sleep. In fact, I have some of the best sleep up here ever. To sleep, we have a sleeping bag that we actually attach to the wall. We zip ourselves in it like this, and then we float the entire time we're sleeping. It's very peaceful.
Hi, I'm SciGirl Natalie. How do you water plants in microgravity?
That is one of my favorite experiments to work on, and we have a special facility for it that we call the veggie facility. In fact, this is it right here. Now, we aren't growing any plants right now, but when we do, they live inside these little baby greenhouses, and to water them, it's really cool. Obviously, we can't have a watering can because the gravity wouldn't carry the water down onto the plants. And the water wouldn't really even stay in the roots of the plants. So the plants actually have their roots in a little pocket. And we attach to that pocket with a little tube. And we water them with a syringe. So first, we fill this bag up with water, and then we hook up the syringe to the bag, and then we hook up the other tube to the actual little pocket where the plant roots are. And we just put the water in with the syringe, and we get awesome lettuce that we even get to eat on board.
Thank you so much, Christina, for inspiring the next generation of girls in space and girls in STEM. Thank you. Bye.
It's been so fun to be talking with you today. Have a great day.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from Twin Cities PBS SciGirls and station. We're now resuming operational audio communications.